in Sicily, Antonio Renzo against Paul Charters. A word on the fight from our two guests this evening. Paul Charters, Colin, a bit of a checkered career.
Yeah, I think he had quite a few hiccups in the earlier part of his career, but he seems to be on a roll at the moment, so I'm sure he's going to be up for the performance tonight.
Obviously a very, very big night for him. How difficult to go to Italy and try and win a title, Gary?
Well, some people have said it's almost impossible. You've got to knock him out to actually get a draw, so the odds are really stacked against him there.
He won't have much support. He's a Newcastle lad, Geordie. I doubt whether too many of them have travelled. How sort of does it help a boxer when you've got a crowd behind you and they're really rooting for you?
Well, it depends, I suppose, on the boxer's mentality. Some boxers it helps, but sometimes it could actually strengthen the opponent.
I noticed that Renzo as well has been doing a bit of training with Gianfranco Rossi, who we know on ringside quite well, and maybe getting a bit of advice. What would you have thought?
Well, if he's getting advice from Rossi, I think Charles has got no chance. You know what Rossi boxing is like.
Mind you, Rossi is a good world champion, hasn't he? He's held the title. So a brief word, your thoughts, what's going to happen?
Well, I think Charters will go out there and he'll fight his heart out because it is a title fight, and as I said again, it might be an opportunity he might not get again.
OK. Gentlemen, sit back, enjoy this one. It's off to Sicily then for the European Lightweight Championship fight between the champion from Italy, Antonio Renzo, and challenging him, it's Newcastle's Paul Charters. Let's join our commentator at ringside. It's Ian Dark.
Welcome to Sicily, famous of course for its volcanoes, vineyards, and yes, the mafia. And tonight staging a European lightweight title defence for Antonio Renzo, very much the hometown man on the right of your picture there in the white shorts with the red stripe down the side. And what a chance this is for Paul Charters from North Shields. What a difficult task it's going to be for him fighting away from home, because chances of foreign boxers winning in Italy are roughly equivalent usually to Stockport County getting an away win at Liverpool in football terms. It's that tough a task. But Charters is a much improved boxer, sticking out his left jab confidently at the start of the contest. Renzo, all-round competent kind of fighter, but certainly not unbeatable. He's not a super fighter or anything like that. But Charters, long odds against here, but he's started fast and doing most of the work in the early stages. Looking a bit wild, but that's a good left to the body from the man from North Shields. Charters, who's 27, and Renzo really getting towards the veteran stage at 31.
Stop! Not this.
Referee Marcel Rouleau from France stepping in. Charters with those tattoos on his arms, much beloved it seems by many of the modern boxers. Renzo has got 6 defeats on his 29 fight record, but he's been on a good run in the last couple of years, making a couple of defenses of the Italian lightweight title, and getting a warning there about use of the head, Renzo. It's quite a bright start by Charters. He's throwing out plenty of leather. His punch economy's not everything it might be, but he's working hard.
Stop!
And this time, again, Renzo getting a warning, this time for holding and hitting. So twice cautioned in the opening round. So this referee is not going to necessarily do the Italian too many favours just because he's at home. Renzo having to cover up a lot in this opening round, and the crew-cutted Charters making a pretty bright start. Watching at ringside, the wife of the champion, Antonio Renzo. Not all boxers like to have their wives watching at ringside, and not all wives like to watch their husbands fight. She looks a picture of anxiety, doesn't she?
Stop!
Renzo hasn't really landed very much cleanly at all in this opening round. In fact, it's been a very difficult opening round this for the champion. There he is, holding and hitting again, this time escaping a warning from the referee, but Charters is quite happy with that. He doesn't mind mixing it at close quarters. Tried the right uppercut inside, and again there. And he's saying now, the referee, if you do that again, I'm going to deduct a point. holding on behind the neck and pulling Charters onto the punches. That's a good right uppercut inside from Charters, and he makes the champion miss. What a good start this is for the British fighter. A couple of hooks close in. He really does look sharp and ready for this contest. Good opening first round that for Paul Charters. I would have thought the judges would have given that even away from home to him. There he is landing with a right and looking to rough Renzo up inside. Round 2 of this European lightweight title fight at 9 stone 9. Paul Charters, the challenger from North Shields, is kicked right at the start of the round. And Renzo, with almost his first significant punch of the contest, has Charters down. So drama in round 2. Just seemed to be caught cold. I don't think he's too hurt, Charters, by that, but Renzo will be much encouraged. And again, the referee telling him to keep his punches up this time. He's had all manner of cautions in the first couple of rounds, this champion. Looks a rough, cagey, and very unorthodox customer, Renzo. Quite difficult to catch cleanly. He's got his gloves up. He moves at rather odd angles and in odd directions. Charters looking to trade with him there. There seems to be a bit of a mark under the left eye of Charters. So this second round not going as well as the first did. Nice left from him there, though. Charters, who's had a couple of good wins this year. He stopped the Midlands area champion Peter Till in 6 rounds in a British title eliminator, and stopped Kevin Spratt in 2 rounds. And all that represents quite a recovery in the career of a man who lost 4 of his first 5 professional contests. Probably in those days, if they told you that Charters was going to go on to fight for a European title, you'd have probably sent for men in white coats to take the purveyor of that opinion away. Left inside there from Renzo was a good one. Again there, Renzo is warned about holding and hitting. Well, when is the referee going to deduct a point for this? That's 3 cautions. I would have thought that added up to a point deduction. That's only a slip. Renzo is not down. He has been down in his career. He's been stopped 3 times by that very tough Belgian Jean-Marc Renard and by Gianni Di Napoli, and he was stopped in the first round by a Tunisian journeyman as well. So he's far from unbeatable, Renzo. He's caught by a really good right there as he languished on the ropes and left himself open. This is a very aggressive performance so far from Charters on the floor in the second round, but he's come back pretty well from that. And it's a real roughhouse brawl so far in the second. That's a really good left from Charters this time. Thudding into the head, then he gets in a body punch as well. And he's giving Renzo here all the trouble he can handle. Chance of Renzo from the Sicilian crowd. And now there seems to be some blood around the face of Renzo. And the referee wants this wiped away. It's a cut by the side of the right eye. I don't think the blood is running into the eye. Referee wants that wiped away, and back they get to this unremitting pressure fighting, the two of them. Neither man wanting to take a backward step. Another really good left in there from Charters. Well, that was a pretty dramatic second round, starting with Charters on the floor. There it is, good punch. Left hook had him down. But Renzo with that little bit of a cut by the side of the right eye. Round 3, and it starts with the referee Marcel Rouleau, who's had plenty to say. And now he's warning both of them about use of the head inside. Renzo's had several cautions already, mainly for holding and hitting. Good left there from Charters. Charters with 15 wins and 10 defeats. It's a pretty mixed record. but certainly in the best form of his career in the last year or so. He's been with Tommy Conroy up in the northeast. Oh, there's a good left from Renzo. Renzo here beginning to pile in some good lefts to the body, but Charters will not give ground. And really, Charters here, as in the best boxing cliches, fighting as though his life depends on it. But Renzo has upped the gear a little bit in this third round. And he's doing more himself, and what a fight this is. Full value. European lightweight title on the line. Renzo won this, by the way, by stopping the Scot Steve Boyle in the 7th round, though Renzo was down himself in that contest in the 6th. That was in April of this year. Renzo's also beaten another British boxer in Paul Huggins, beat him in 1 round back in 1986. Explosive action here in the 3rd round. 2 good hooks there from Charters. Watch the use of the head, says the referee. And Renzo's wife can barely watch it. Crowd don't mind though. They've paid good money and they're getting full value so far. Oh, he's caught with the left and that buckled his knees. Charters there. He was hurt by that shot. Bravely, he comes back, still throwing leather, but just leaving himself a little bit open. It was again that left hook, the one that had him down in the 2nd round. And I thought for a moment he was going to sack to the canvas, but he's come back again pretty bravely. But these punches must now just be starting to take something out of Charters, and he looks a little less steady on his legs. Just not quite as coordinated and sharp after that good first round. Renzo in this 3rd round, as the two of them rough each other up at close quarters. Renzo's been getting the better of it here. Holding and hitting again, escaping a caution for doing it. Yeah, this has been a tough round for Charters. Long way from North Shields here in Palermo. They do you no favours here at all. Last few seconds then of the 3rd round. Renzo's round this one.
Bang!
Fourth round. Charters in the black shorts, the champion Renzo in white. Charters down in round 2 and with his knees buckled in the 3rd, but still looking very much in the contest. I'm quite happy to turn it into a brawl with this champion. If Charters is going to lose this, I think he's made up his mind that he's just going to give it everything. Big crossroads fight for him in his career. If he can win this one, of course, who knows, a version of the world title may await him quite soon, and that would be some story for a man who had such an awful start to his professional career. Caught with a left, though, by Renzo that time.
Not holding. Box.
No holding. This referee, although he's French, talking to the fighters in English, which is fine as far as Charters is concerned. I wonder if Renzo fully understands. Charters looking for a big right there. Humdinger whistled past the jaw of Renzo, and probably just as well. Charters doesn't have the reputation of being a massive puncher. About half of his wins have come inside the scheduled distance by knockout or stoppage. Renzo's quite a crisp puncher himself. He's had 18 inside the scheduled wins out of 23. Backing Charters into the corner there. Charters turns him quite neatly. A lot of holding inside there in that maul, and the referee splitting them up. This is the 4th round. It's due to go 12. And the European lightweight title in the past held by such luminaries as Dave Charnley, who was really a great British fighter back in 1960-61. Ken Buchanan, the Scot who went on to become world champion, and Jim Watt, another Scot who went on to become a world champion.
Stop! Box.
Holding inside, referee not happy. He's quite fussy, this referee. But better that than letting the two fighters get away with everything.
Box.
Sometimes you see fighters, especially those fighting at home, getting away with murder. Good right there from Charters, and disguising the left pretty well as well. This really is a brawl. Not too much of the sweet science on view here. Not too much working behind the classical jab. They want to trade, these two. Last few seconds of the fourth round.
Hey!
So that's the scene here in the Stadio Municipale in Palermo. And there's, you can have a look at the condition of both boxers. Charters looks pretty unmarked. There are certainly markings around the face of Renzo, particularly by the right eye, and they're now putting some grease above his left eye as well. But I think it's a precautionary measure. Nothing too serious there. He's almost got a kind of Charles Bronson look about that leathery skin, hasn't he, Renzo? Round 5. Just to remind you, the champion, Antonio Renzo, born in Calopesati in the white trunks, and Paul Charters, the challenger from North Shields in the northeast of England, in the black. Good right, Renzo. Heads coming perilously close together. I think the referee's worried a bit about that. See, when they work in close like that, almost horns locked, there's always the danger that the head is going to open up a cut. Well, it's a good right from Charters. What a brave and courageous performance away from home this already is from him. He's certainly making sure that Renzo has no easy defense, and that's a good punch again from him. And Renzo there just lost balance a bit as that one landed. Covered up well. He's quite resilient, though, this champion. Like Charters, Renzo's career has taken a fairly dramatic upturn over the last couple of years. He was a win-some, lose-some kind of fighter, but training with the IBF light middleweight champion Gianfranco Rossi, who you'll have seen quite a bit of on this channel, has changed things for him. He's now a lot more professional and dedicated, he says, and he's learned a lot. Late in his career, too, at 31. So Renzo, his reward for all that hard work has been this European lightweight championship. Well, his wife really looks to be enjoying all this about as much as a migraine headache at the moment, doesn't she? I'm surprised she wants to come along at all. Charters again having some success with that way of his of almost switching to southpaw for a moment and throwing out a right, which is out of range, and then follows it with a left that scores. Renzo, of course, boxing out of the southpaw stance himself.
Box.
I think they're just both a little bit more tired now, and not surprisingly, because the pace of this has been quite furious at times. Oh, that's a good left from Renzo there, off the ropes, counter punch. Charters digs in a right to the body.
Box. Stop! Stop! Correct. Okay? Correctly.
Punch correctly, says the referee, who obviously got his O level in English. Probably a pretty good grade as well. So 5 rounds gone here, and the scoring, I would think, it's one of the realities of boxing life in Italy, is going to favour the champion if it's at all close, and quite a few of the rounds have been so far. They've done quite a good job with those cuts around Renzo's face. Here's some of the action from that round. That was a good right from Charters, and it had Renzo off balance and covering up. Round 6. Coming up towards the halfway point, and then this 12-rounder for the European lightweight title. Colour check for you. Charters with his crew cut there, looking to throw in the combinations. I must say, Renzo, although he's a European champion, he doesn't look on this evidence, and I haven't seen him before, to be the kind of fighter who could go up much more from this. In other words, he doesn't look world championship material. In fact, he's done pretty well to reach these kind of heights in his career, and Charters roughing him up again. Tribute really to the amount of training and conditioning that Charters has put in. And now a deduction at last for Renzo, who's been cautioned several times before for holding and hitting and holding inside, and this time 1 point off for the champion. And not before time. The referee really couldn't carry on cautioning ad nauseum. He had to do something, and he's caught by a right, Renzo. Charters here really starting to get a foothold in things. He's still got a chance of springing a shock with an away win. This was billed by many as, well, not a formality for Renzo, but it was reckoned to be a defence he would cope with quite easily. Voluntary defence of the title. But Charters is giving him all the trouble he can handle.
Box.
There's a kind of confident look on Charters' face as well, like a man who thinks he may be over the worst in the contest, and he's got quite a lot of petrol left in the tank from all that conditioning. Renzo coming back at him though, still looks strong, the Italian. Quite fascinatingly poised at the moment.
Box.
Charters just throwing out lots and lots of leather. Keep working, keep working. Try and build up the points. Covering up quite well there too as Renzo comes back at him. Oh, 2 punches landed by Charters, but he walked onto one from Renzo. Just got a bit careless. And that's what he can't afford to do. He's been down once. Charters perhaps just needs to work the openings a bit more. Easier said than done in a contest like this one, though. But that was a pretty good round, I thought, for Paul Charters. There he is on the left of the picture. He was born in London, but very much now settled up in the northeast and looking to continue the boxing revival up there, started by the likes of Glenn McCrory and Billy Hardy. Glenn, of course, a world champion at cruiserweight. Billy, who fought for the bantamweight crown. Round 7. European lightweight title on the line. And Paul Charters making a determined and courageous bid to win it away from home the hard way. The crowd have gone a bit quiet here. They turned up here tonight thinking that they'd be cheering on a bit of a glory night for the hometown man Renzo. But Charters quite clearly had not read one word of that script. Good left to the body from him this time. can't be a lot in it at this stage. Renzo, of course, with a point deducted in round 5. Again there, roughed up against the ropes by the forcing tactics of Charters, who wants to take the contest all the time to the champion. And this has got to be really the right way to do it for Charters. If you're fighting away from home, especially in somewhere like Sicily, you can't expect to do it by just scraping home. Nobody's going to do you any favors. He's got to win it, and win it big, if he wants to get given the decision here. That is a reality that several visiting fighters have found out to their cost before. Crowds in the past here, not suggesting that it will be the case tonight, have known to turn a bit nasty when they've seen home defeats. I remember a British referee who stopped an Italian here, having to be flown out in the dead of night amid high security. And the fellow he stopped needed 66 stitches. So I think it might just about have been a correct stoppage. Oh, Charters is caught by a right there. And Renzo gets in another left, but he's holding and hitting again. And the referee deducts another point. Another point deducted from Renzo. Well, this referee deducting the points from the champion on his home patch is almost as brave as Charters in there, I'd say. 2 points now deducted from Renzo. But he really did shake Charters up again there. Dramatic round again. Renzo, look at all that sweat there, the product of so much hard work for both of them, of course. 8th round here in the Stadio Municipale in Palermo. Charters is caught by a right. Trying to box behind his jab almost for the first time in the contest there, but that isn't really his style, and I don't think we're going to see much of that. I think the pattern has been set. A lot of close-quarter brawling. They've both landed with some good punches. I think what's been proven here is that Renzo is the crisper puncher of the two. He's shaken up Charters once or twice and had him down briefly in the second round. But I don't think Charters has ever been really seriously hurt.
Stop, stop, stop!
Not groggy, anyway.
Stop, stop!
But of course, the more tired he gets, another punch like that later on in the contest could have rather more serious repercussions for him. Renzo will be encouraged by what happened in that last round, because he had Charters going. And there he is again, holding on. Now, how many times does Renzo rather have to be warned about holding behind the head and pulling his opponent onto the punches? I'd have thought 2 points deducted would have been alarm bells enough for him in that direction, because of course if he carries on with that, the referee's going to have no option but to disqualify him. Mind you, if anybody who disqualified an Italian here in Palermo, I think, would want a trap door to escape by, coming up somewhere about 1,000 miles away.
Break! Break! And step back. Break and step back.
Had a busy night, this referee. Many more like this, he'd have to go into training himself for the fights. Just getting a bit untidy here. in the 8th round. Not many of the punches landing very crisply. Quite tired. Can't help but thinking that Charters would be a more effective boxer if he could learn to box his way in behind the jab and then let those heavier punches go. He just tends to come forward with his jaw hanging out a bit occasionally.
Stop!
This time Charters was just holding and hitting a bit. And of course the crowd saying, well, why aren't you deducting a point from him? And I think the answer to that is Charters hasn't done it before. Now he's holding again. He wants to watch that because the referee will be looking to impose equal justice, of course. But that was about the quietest round of the contest. The busiest fellow in there during that round was the referee. Refreshing water onto the face. Charters still pretty much unmarked. There seems to be just a little bit of a nick there, nothing much underneath his left eye. That's a good left from him there. Ninth round. Paul Charters, the challenger from North Shields, is the man in the black shorts, just to remind you. Antonio Renzo, the Italian southpaw and European lightweight champion, in the white. But this is close.
Renzo.
Charters has worked so hard. He's caught by 2 there, though. Once more, the worried Mrs. Renzo. Both of them, I think, pretty tired now. They've given it an awful lot. And professional boxers will tell you at this stage of a contest, it really can come down to which boxer wants this the most. Who can dig the deepest in the closing stages. Renzo, if he comes through this, and that is something of an if at the moment, is due to make a mandatory defence against another British boxer, the British and Commonwealth champion Carl Crook. And it's a nice uppercut inside from Renzo. Charters just doing rather less at this stage. Last round was quiet, and Renzo's done what little scoring there's been in this round. Renzo covering up quite well. I don't think many of those punches from Charters are actually finding the target. Gets his gloves up quite well. A lot tend to land on his elbows and gloves. Makes it difficult for the judges to score it. Wonder how they are scoring it at this stage. Can't be an awful lot in it, really, particularly with those 2 points deducted from Renzo for fouls. It's a nice left uppercut again from him, though. He's quite good with that shot.
Stop.
And this time it's Charters who gets a little cautionary word from the referee.
Stop.
He's just getting a little bit now, I think, this referee, what you'd call over fussy. He's stepping in almost every 3 or 4 seconds. 2 good shots there from Charters, who's holding on behind, and then this is about the 4th caution in the last couple of rounds that Charters has got without having a point deducted. Last few seconds then of the 9th round. Again, a pretty quiet one. 31-year-old Antonio Renzo, leathery skin. There's a left uppercut from him inside. They seem to have done a pretty good job on that little nick by the right eye. Renzo, his face bathed in sweat. Charters still looking quite fresh. Round 10. And Charters, the challenger from North Shields, in the black trunks, still in with a chance of causing an upset and getting a shock victory in this European lightweight title fight here in Palermo. They're both, I think, pretty tired now, but Renzo, maybe in the last couple of rounds, has just looked a little bit stronger. Obviously a very hard, gritty kind of fighter with no apparent weaknesses.
Stop, 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 stop. Stop! Not holding.
Stop holding this time, says the referee, this time to Charters. Last 2 or 3 rounds haven't been a particularly pretty sight, and the crispness seems to have gone out of the punching, particularly of Charters. Renzo landing there with a left. Charters taking that, then another right to the head, and I think Charters is just at this stage starting to wilt a little bit. He gave it so much in those first 7 or 8 rounds, and the question at this stage is whether he's quite paced this right, because he must keep working, he must keep on picking up points. It's obviously pretty close, and the decision may still be up for grabs in these last couple of rounds or so. Punching on the break from Charters there, which escapes punishment. Renzo just a bit busier. Punch going into the head from him again, then the uppercut left to the body. What's Charters got by way of reply? It just doesn't seem to be very much in his punches at the moment. And I think, although he's not in any serious problems or anything like that, this is a bad patch of the fight for Charters. He was scoring well in those first 7 or 8 rounds, giving Renzo quite a bit of trouble. He's still in the contest there, Charters, but he really does need to start scoring again with those punches that he was teeing off with earlier on. He looks arm weary. Renzo with his abdominal protector there riding up above the shorts. Referee ought to do something about that, because of course it can stop body punches going up that high. An old trick of the Marvin Hagler cap, that. Well, there is Charters. How much has he got left in? There are the cornermen telling him to keep on working, maybe getting his jab out. Caught with a left there, and Renzo did most of the work and will have taken that 10th round. Round 11. And Paul Charters here, having earned himself a big foothold in this European lightweight title fight, and looking on course to maybe snatch a surprise one, has just wilted in the last couple of rounds and needs a big round here in the 11th. Renzo, good body punch that, and another one. Renzo, who had these 2 points deducted for fouls, just the one knockdown so far. That was Charters in round 2. Briefly from a left hook. He's looking a bit sharper at the start of this round, Charters. Renzo, his defence is quite tight, gets his gloves up quite well, and there's just the suspicion in the last couple of rounds that he's just beginning to wear down Charters and start to get his measure. Watch the use of the head, says the referee this time to Renzo. Renzo, who lost 3 times in bids for the Italian title before getting it 4th time lucky. That was in 1989. That's better from Charters. Breathing a little bit heavier now, the man from North Shields. Renzo boxing out of that southpaw stance of his. Obviously a tough, hard, leathery old customer. It's been a fine effort from Charters. You really couldn't have asked for any more from him. But frankly, in the last 3 rounds, he hasn't really done very much. And he goes down there. Just a slip, says the referee. I wondered whether there was a punch on the blind side away from us that had caught him, but no. And this time he's wrestled over to the floor. And he's getting tired there now. And again, the referee just rules that as a slip. I didn't see a punch, but he's looking marked around the face and he's breathing heavier. These are bad moments now for Charters. How much has he got left? This time he is caught with 2 lefts, and down he goes. It was exhaustion that had him slipping down before, and for the 3rd time he goes down, and this time he does have to take the count. Gets up at about 5, count goes on to 8. Renzo now will sense that maybe he can get this job done inside Chidlin, and another punch. Charters just has absolutely nothing but nothing left, and he takes his own gum shield out. He's just exhaustion. I don't think they were knockout punches or anything like that, but the man had not 1 fluid ounce of petrol left, because he'd given it absolutely everything, Charters, in a brave and courageous effort against the odds, away from home, but he just ran out of gas. And he goes back tired, dispirited. That's a sad sight of a brave, brave boxer. But Renzo has held on to the title. He just outlasted him. There was the left. Charters is very tired man at this stage, and I really don't think it was going to take an awful lot to put him away. He'd just been worn down. Clubbing little lefts there to the side of the head. And good night. Now the formalities. Charters happily is okay again. And Antonio Renzo holds on to the European lightweight title here in...
And for Paul Charters in Italy. Colin, he had his moments, didn't he?
He did. I mean, your heart's really got to get to Paul. He performed so well, especially away from home, and to, come so close. Because I actually thought he was, winning the fight. And to, be stopped in the 11th round, it's a little bit sad to see.
Heartbreaking. He actually ran out of gas, I think Ian Dark said in the commentary, which was spot on, I thought.
Apparently, all 3 judges had him ahead on their scorecards. And the referee was stopping it a lot. I don't think that referee's ever going to do another job in Italy. He'll have to come over here. We want him over here because he's fair.
To do one of Colin fights, he'll be disappointed when he hears that. OK.